Okay, hello everybody. So today's gonna be a very not awkward stream, but I'm kind of at the speed run this today. It's not. It's kind of hard to explain, but some shenanigans happened last night with my sprite animation, the stuff, and I lost about 10 minutes worth of work because I was about to upload it. So I kind of have to prioritize that because sprite animation takes a long time, and I'm very furious that things happened the way they did. I finished it up. It was getting ready to export it. Once I go take a shower, come back, everything's gone. Thank God I had at least a 15-minute portion of that video like done and already like exported just for review. But I lost a good chunk at the end of that sprite animation, so I have to redo it from scratch again. But I'm pretty much almost done with it. I kind of have to prioritize that because that takes a lot of work. So we'll get this. We'll do what we can right now. I do have to finish this little section up, and if I have enough time, I'll actually continue on. But yeah, that was my adventure last night. After I was done with this, just about a month and a half's worth of work just gone. I and what made it worse was my backups just for some weird reason didn't work. It was CapCut's fault, but damn, that's still annoying. Anyways, that's enough of my bitching and moaning. Let's see where I left off with this one. Because we started this, but we skipped this to work on the brain, so we can finish this one up. So every horror story begins intimately in a place we trust. For example, a bedroom, a school, even a hospital. These spaces should be seen as a place of comfort until something inside them changes. The environment starts becoming something alien. Things we saw as familiar are no longer that way. It's not the enemies that strike first, it's the betrayal of something familiar. Places you once thought safe become a stage for unease. That safe room is a temporary sanctuary because eventually you'll have to leave it. Being isolated turns the world you once knew and corrupts it. The home becomes a maze. That street feels longer than you remember. You realize that the places that were once familiar are not haunted by ghosts, by absence. Okay. This is what environmental storytelling. Environmental storytelling. This is what makes environmental storytelling so haunting. So haunting. The setting stops. The setting stops serving the story. I'll fix that, mate. The setting stops serving the story. This is what makes environmental storytelling so haunting. The setting stops serving the story. It stops serving it and begins telling it. I really can't believe I lost all that work. I'm so mad. I lost the majority of it, but at least the script writing the script writing is there. I just gotta put the video back in there, which is annoying, but I'll drink to that. Don't drink unless you're an adult as usual. But yeah, I was so salty last night. So the setting stops serving the story and starts telling it. Give me 1 second. We technically have the day off tomorrow, but better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. Because tomorrow is Halloween, so happy Halloween for the people that celebrate. Go watch the Halloween series. At least 1, 2, and 4. You'll enjoy it. The setting stops serving the story and starts telling it. Hmm. It becomes more than a backdrop. Repeated that time and time again, but yeah, it becomes more uh backdrop flop. It becomes more than a backdrop. It shows you fear. It shows you fear. No, it shows you what fear looks like. It shows you what fear. What I want to say it looks like? It shows you what fear. It shows you what fear looks like when it has nowhere to hide. If we do have the day off tomorrow, ho ho, I will gladly enjoy that. Every horror story begins intimately in a place we trust. For example, a bedroom, a school, and even a hospital. These spaces should be seen as a place for comfort until something inside them changes. The environment starts becoming something alien. Things we saw as familiar are no longer that way. It's not the enemies that strike first, it's the betrayal of something familiar. Places you once thought safe become a stage for unease. That safe room is a temporary sanctuary because eventually you'll have to leave it. Being isolated turns the world you once knew and corrupts it. The home becomes a maze. That street feels longer than you remember. You realize the places that were once familiar now are not haunted by ghosts. Wait. You realize that the places you that were once familiar are not haunted by ghosts. Forgot a but. This is why we proofread. This is what makes environmental storytelling so haunting. The setting stops serving the story and starts telling it. It becomes more than a backdrop. It shows you what fear looks like when it has nowhere left to hide. Hold on. I don't really need to give examples, well, game examples, because again, I don't want to take away from the case studies, but play any Silent Hill game. Play, well, any Resident Evil game. Play any horror game in general. Like, the environment does tell the story. So, horror. Horror thrives when the player play White Day. Definitely play White Day. Horror thrives when the player begins to doubt not only the monster, but the surroundings. No, yeah, the monster, the ground they're standing on. I don't really think I even need to add more to this. Yeah, I don't really think we need to. This is pretty self-explanatory if you really think about it. Let me read this one more time. Every horror story begins intimately in a place we trust. For example, a bedroom, a school, and even a hospital. These spaces should be seen as a place for comfort until something inside them changes. The environment starts becoming something alien. Things we saw as familiar are no longer that way. It's not the enemies that strike first, it's the betrayal of something familiar. The places you once thought safe become a stage for unease. That save room is a temporary sanctuary because eventually you'll have to leave it. Case in point being, run away from Nemesis in OG RA3. That save room music changes. because he's outside. You're gonna have to get back outside and take that whooping. OG Nemesis is funny. He has legitimate mix-ups in Okizeme's. That save room is a temporary sanctuary because eventually you have to leave it. Being isolated turns the world you once knew and corrupts it. The home becomes a maze. The streets feel longer than you remember. You realize that places that were once familiar are not haunted by ghosts, but by absence. Excuse me. This is what makes environmental storytelling so haunting. The setting stops serving the story and starts telling it. It becomes more than a backdrop. It shows you what fear looks like when there's no one left to hide. Horror thrives when the player begins to doubt not only the monster, but the ground they're standing on. Hmm. I can. If it's. I need to end that properly. So almost forgot. So last night, before all this happened, I need to. I think it was work that called me. I didn't get a chance to actually review this, so let me actually read this one more time. Again, I do apologize, but I kind of have to prioritize redoing the missing scenes from my sprite animation lore video because again, I'm still pissed off about that. Really, really pissed off. But because once I take a shower, come back, everything's gone, and I can't recover it because we had to turn off auto saving because it kept on crashing Adobe Animate. So whatever happened last night, it corrupted my Adobe Animate file, and it got rid of my video file, which in turn got rid of the video file in CapCut. So I'm like, bruh, what the fuck? I just have lore and images. I got no video footage. I was so salty. But at least I had some footage that I ended up exporting just for review, which was at least 13 minutes out of a 22-minute video. So I'm like, all right, fine. I just gotta redo the ending of that animation. But yeah, I was pretty pissed off. But sorry. Fear doesn't always start with sight and sound. It begins with interpretation within the gray matter in our skulls, primarily in our amygdala, which I talk about a lot, the brain's fear center. Did I just see something in the corner of my eye? Where was that groan coming from? Was that door always open? All these questions pass through our brains, and we start wondering, am I truly safe? When we are isolated, those types of questions never stop repeating. The amygdala begins operating in a state of hypervigilance. Hypervigilance. The mind starts working in overdrive, trying to keep you sane. It's not malfunctioning. It's just overperforming, searching for meaning. Horror games utilize that tendency, such as the Silent Hill games thriving on ambiguity. Oh my god, I got hit by so many ambiguous crosses back in the day. I should know this word. Ambiguity. Horror Silent Hill games thriving on ambiguity. Is what you're seeing truly real, or is it just your imagination? Fatal Frame forces the player to peer through the camera obscura and never entirely sure if what they see is truly there, which they are there. The Fatal Frame hasn't been put in a position where they'll have like fake outs. You'll think it's a ghost, but it's not actually a ghost. Not yet. Hopefully they do that someday. These games. Whoops. Always proofread your stuff. These games aren't just frightening because of what they show, but because they force the player's brain to complete the image. In isolation, the brain's alarm never turns off. Its instincts to keep us safe and to ensure survival is pushed to the limits. That hypervigilance, a survival mechanism, becomes self-destructive. For example, you start feeling watched even when you're alone. The mind itself becomes a threat. Yeah, like we didn't actually get a chance to finish this all. The mind itself becomes a threat. If you can't trust your own mind, you're cooked. Isn't that right, James? Or Danny? Okay, I do not have my outline because my iPad is not here. I do not know where it is. It's somewhere back there. Fuck. Give me 1 second. I gotta see what's the next section. I'll try it. Hold on. Alright, let's see. What? I'm not gonna stress this enough. I am gonna stress this enough actually. Get an iPad for notes. Okay. The mind in isolation. Okay. Perfect lead on into that. We'll start this and like I said, we'll wrap it up because I do need to start working on recovering whatever I can to recover. Hello. Just finishing up my essay that I'm doing on this. Well, at least finishing up the section that I'm working on. Okay. So, carrying on with this. Yeah, the primary thing, we're doing case studies on both the Resident Evil games, Silent Hill, F, and FNAF Security Breach Berlin. It's just a little bit more complicated than my normal essays that I do. It's mostly because each of these games, they offer different forms of isolation. For example, Resident Evil 4, both of them are more so on environmental isolation. Silent Hill F is pretty much an internalized isolation. It's more so environmental because of how the game is, and obviously FNAF is FNAF. Long story short, this is complex, but it's doable. Definitely doable. Okay, so let's just start this before we wrap this up, because I definitely got to go start taking care of something else real quick. So, isolation in the mind. FNAF, yeah. FNAF is, on a surface level, FNAF has a lot of good aspects that you can actually do for a research project. Like, if someone told me, like, hey, do an essay on FNAF, I'm like, okay, cool. What do you want me to do the essay on? Like, right now, we're doing isolation. For example, Gregory in the vanilla game, the main game, had Glamrock Freddy the entire time, so he had a companion. But shift things over to Cassie in Ruin, Cassie for the majority of the time was pretty much just by herself. And lo and behold, like sure they wanted to introduce Roxy at the end of it, but that didn't last long because you obviously had to decommission Roxy in order to progress in the story. So yes, Ruin, for example, is a great form of isolation. She's by herself trying to save Gregory, who may or may not be Gregory at the end of the day. But yes, FNAF is good to write like essays like this because there's always something deeper you can write about. Yeah, she's always alone. I actually mentioned this before in my outline because whenever I do these essays, I start with an outline first, then I proceed on to the main narrative. If you really think about it, the Gregory that's talking to her via the fast watch might not be Gregory at all. Thank you, Matt Pat, for you and your theories. But yeah, the entire time she's always just by herself until sure you get Roxy later, but that's only temporary because of what happens. You have to decommission her. But yeah, when it comes to like stuff like this, FNAF always has something you can write about. Like my last video I ended up doing, what was the last one I did? Safe No More? Give me 1 second. I'll actually read that. So you choose for funsies at the end of the day. I love writing my essays. So let me actually just bring that up. What I wrote about the regular one. Let's see. Safe No More. Safe No More. Safe No More. Okay, give me 1 second. Let's see. Oh, I was talking about betrayed spaces. So, I'll read this out loud. So, there is something deeply unsettling about horror set in places we grew up trusting. Family restaurants, arcades, and amusement centers. They're supposed to be filled with laughter, noise, and safety. Yet Five Nights at Freddy's takes that comfort and turns it against us. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza isn't just merely haunted by the victims of William Afton. It's corrupted. Under its family-friendly exterior lies a deadly facade. From the moment you begin working your shift as a security guard, the space itself feels wrong. You're confined within the security office until the end of your shift, surrounded by cameras, doors, and a diminishing power source. It's supposed to be a job, but it feels like a cage. You can't leave. You can only watch. Each camera offers glimpses of the interior of the building and the animatronics that inhabit it. The pizzeria on paper should be seen as a place built on trust. It should stand as a place where parents bring their children for fun. Its concept is simple. You go there for entertainment and to see the animatronics. It should put people at ease. That's what makes the horror so tragic. The betrayal isn't just in the animatronics. It's the idea that something that should bring joy could become a threat. The betrayal in the space becomes even more apparent for the player. Inside the security office, control is an illusion. Actions you take to survive your shift comes at a cost. The more you try to protect yourself, the more power you consume, which leaves you vulnerable. The mechanics of the game itself plays into the theme of betrayal. The tools meant to keep you safe are actively working against you. What FNAF does so well is to blend paranoia with routine. Every night follows the same pattern, yet each one feels worse. At the center of it all is the harsh truth. You are never safe. The pizzeria, with its premise of having a good time, is all a facade. Freddy's Fazbear's Pizza isn't just a haunted building, it's a betrayal of nostalgia. Yeah, like, even like stuff like that, like, you're going to work. Like, work should feel safe as the security guard, but no, like, there's more. You only see things on the surface level. Listen, obviously, we played the games. There's a lot of stuff happening in the background. Either it's William Afton shenanigans. Thank you, thank you. I got my master's in English back in the day. But yeah, like YouTube's for fun. Like I don't really use my degree as much as I should have back in like now, but it's all good. Because I'm in the military, so I want to at least put my degree to good use. But so carrying on with this, let's see. Let me actually let me look at my notes again. Give me a second. Outline. No one to hear you. All right. Because let's see, security breach ruin, security breach ruin. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, it's for funsies, but I love doing this. Fuck, I'm actually kind of running out. I forgot my watch broke yesterday. I'm actually running out of time. So tomorrow we'll start the Mind of Solitude. Thank you very much. Whoever watches these vlogs, and we'll be back tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody. And I'll